Alright.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Cryptosparta, the podcast with Brian and Daniel, and we got a special guest, Vinny. As usual, we're going to dive into the markets right away.
Yeah, so welcome. The markets have taken a turn, a nice little dip during Thanksgiving.
Some
Or
some Black Friday sales for everybody.
yeah, but so Bitcoin has basically dropped from 60 down to 53. But in this past hour, there's a nice little 3,000 5% candle, a green candle for Bitcoin right now. So it's at like 56. And Ethereum has been same with Ethereum. It was at 4,500 and it dipped to like 4,000. And now there's a nice little hour candle, 3% candle. So it's like up to 4,300 right now. And yeah, so like we
I
talked
think I
about
started
last week.
saying oh, dude, don't worry. It's just people selling crypto for Christmas presents.
Yeah, and then the
And I was telling
greed,
about the
it's
macro stuff,
funny. Yeah,
like
so we talked
coming
about it
few
last week, how we predicted a dip and how people were gonna sell for tax purposes and Black Friday gifts because of Thanksgiving in the US. And then that happened on Friday, but on top of that, we also got news that there was a new like COVID variant in South Africa, and that kind of like tanked the market too. So, but right now, I think it's like, and it's funny too because we're at like 54,000, 53,000, and ETH has been around 40,000, which is pretty strong. And the fear index and the the fear greed index for both Bitcoin and Ethereum is like at an all-time low since like 2000 or September 2021, which is like the last dip. But if you zoom out, it's just a slow climb, slow rise, just higher lows basically.
And I
So
mean, the fear is high, but it seems unfounded where people are like, what, you think the bull run is over? Like, no.
nah, you're just getting
Like,
started, fam.
but like, when's alt season? It's like, dude, alts are
Hasn't
pretty.
even I mean, we talked about this last week too, where it's like certain things are popping off. And there's a funny tweet where the metaverse and Haska tweeted Sand and Gala and or Mana, and those are like 30x and 10x since last
Dude,
month.
Mana, yeah. I mean, and there was the old Barry Silbert one from like 2018. Like,
There's a whole bunch of
metaverse
sales.
companies, they're going crazy.
Yeah, there's land sales. There's a land that just got sold for like 2.4 million. And
Decentraland?
no, yeah, Decentraland. No, Axes.
Yeah.
Um, but then this past Thursday, CNBC had a crypto hour special, like diving into crypto markets, and they had all these like CNBC people that they talk about crypto, like Meltem Demirs and other people. And it was funny because Haska was saying, and I was totally it has like the meme of like the parabola of like, left side of the curve, right side of the curve,
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
middle.
Yeah.
And I was total middle side of the curve where it's like, no, you can't just buy the top 3 coins in CoinGecko metaverse section, call it a thesis and expect it to do well because Facebook changed its name to Meta.
Yeah.
And I was
No, it
so
did.
like, and that was my like thought process. And the right side of the curve is like the giga brains, and that like we simply submit to the narrative. And then the left side of the curve is like, sand.
Sand. Yeah.
And so if
Oh,
you're on
man.
the
All those
left and
metaverse
right,
coins are just through the roof. It's
yeah,
kind of
you're 10x
disgusting.
and 7x since, the past 30
A few
days.
months ago. I mean, that was on the dip though. Everyone tries to like look back and be like, we could have gotten in and we would have been geniuses. And it's like a lot of people were scared to put their money in when the dip was on, even if it was crawling back up to like towards all-time highs. Like,
Well, yeah, the fear index. I think it's a very good indicator of like the
it really
volume.
is. The fear
Um,
index, and then for all those other episodes, I was harping on the funding for what it costs to borrow if you want a short or if you want a long.
yeah.
And like there's like other indicators that like you can look at that are kind of clear, but it's interesting how people are just like, okay, next time I get euphoric, I'm gonna like sell.
And this kind of like transfers into like scam coins because we did our like rug pulls or Ponzi's
Yeah, the
because
S dog. S dog. So I bought
because
it at
yeah,
about like 3,000. And then I found that I think the math was like I got like because it was like super high APY, but the math turned out that if it's only for 7 days, I got like 20% extra coins, I think, or
y-
something
yeah. So
in a few days.
kind of
But
going off.
I put in barely anything.
Yeah.
And then what happened was the buyback of all of the treasuries that it was backed by got eaten up by basically three sellers that had an algorithm
It was a
created by
rug pull.
bots.
Insider. Well, they said they try to prevent bots. And then, so they created their own decks instead of having people buy back on Trader Joe, which was a question mark, like a kind of like you raise your eyebrow type of thing. It's like, so I
Didn't
think
make sense.
last week
You need to explain in like English for Vinny because that was like the whole thing where
yeah.
it's like
So
we've
I'll
gone
try to
too
start
far.
from the beginning. I'll recap from what we did last week.
I told him a bit
So
about
we
S dog.
So we
Yeah.
broke down S Dog on the podcast. We did a screen share and like it was basically an ohm fork, but for a meme coin, and it was a very elaborate way of launching a meme coin, where they were letting people buy back or like buy and then stake for an insane amount of APY, and then after a couple days, you can stop minting, and then during this time they'll stop minting, you can destake, and then be prepared to they'll do a massive buyback. And this is kind of similar. This reminds me to like the Urzel situation where it's like a launch of a product and then everybody's like trying to get
Somebody
in
manipulates it like crazy. Yeah.
to stake and get the huge APY. So people are trying to, sell their coins for the buyback so they can sell their S dog and get MIMS back, which is the stable coin. And so, it was like Thursday,
And
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Yeah, it was very weird timing. And so everyone thought they were going to do the buyback swap on Trader Joe, which is a lot more legit because it's their Avalanche's main DEX or centralized or decentralized exchange. But they created, so literally like 4 hours before, they created their own snow because it's backed by Snowbank, that own fork, and they created their own DEX and they
4 hours
were
before the buyback, right?
yeah, for the
They're like,
buyback.
we're gonna find our own network to be able
We're
to
gonna create our
transfer
own decks because we're afraid of these
our own
bots, and we're gonna make
exchange
it
just with
very
us.
we're
Yeah.
it's we're gonna make it very complicated for bots to attack the swap.
Blah blah blah.
Sure they
Yeah.
did.
And so apparently if you had your slippage at like 100%, you maybe could have gotten a good return. But it was basically the first like 5 wallets got 10 million or 5 million or whatnot.
So
And
the first wallet, so I had like a fraction of a snow dog,
but
and I
you
was just
didn't
like playing
realize that
around
you
with
had
it.
to manually swap. You thought you
I
unstaked.
knew no, I was gonna I unstaked and I was gonna manually swap if the price went up. And I was like, let's see if the dust clears and if everybody holds. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I know some people are gonna take profits, but maybe the price will end up higher than before.
And it
And
was a
then it immediately
clear
just nuked
it
right
was
into
a
the
clear buy the new or sell the news or like what's that on the way up where it's like you you sell the news where it's like it's too much hype, they
But then,
can't
I mean,
back it up.
Stinky Cubert was being like, ha ha ha, you like you sold Snow Dog before the buyback. What are you
Well,
doing?
because it was climbing. It was climbing. So I
It was
I
climbing.
I invested in Snowbank just to like I was like I thought it's too risky. I'll like third degree, third
And S
branch
Bank was
away
supposed to be
in S
legit.
Bank. Yeah. And so it was like you're getting, 400,000 APY. And so I put like, $400
Can
in.
you put up that Twitter video of it? Of the guy talking?
Just a sec. I don't know if I saved it. You
But I mean,
mean,
the crazy thing that like, which is sad, where it's like, okay, guys, not financial advice. Yeah, somebody actually killed themselves over that stuff.
yeah, it's like crazy because people were so invested in Snowbank, and we looked at what they're backed by, and it was like very legit stuff like Mim, Spell,
Yeah.
Avalanche.
But the first guy was like, the first guy got like 187 token sale.
The guy made 10 million off of
Yeah,
his S dog, the first
187
guy.
tokens at like what, 55,000 per token.
Yeah, so yeah,
And
they promised 40
then
million
the
in
price,
buybacks.
so they did the buyback and the burn and the token supply decreased, but still the tokens that I had, like the fractions of the tokens that I had bought at like 3,000 were basically then like nuked into the ground. And now I think that they're like 70 cents a token.
Yeah,
Like
and no,
3,000 to 70. I
Snowbank
was trying to do
dropped.
the math with Vinny where it was like, is that like a 99 point like 4 or 0.3 like percentage decrease?
I had to literally, it was like pulling up, and I didn't realize that Snowbank was going to be affected. And so I was kind of lackadaisical with my
Snowbank got
Snowbank, but I
destroyed.
was like slowly watching it, and I was like, oh, it's tanking right now too because that stock failed. And I didn't think it was going to tank that much, but it like people were distrusted by S Dog, and then they sold their Snowbank. So I got out. I was able, I mean, I had 50% loss, but it got so bad where I know on this podcast we talk about the risk-free value of like what it's backed by. So if it goes below a certain value, that's the minimum, it happens. And then the protocol will start printing money. So it went from 2,400 down to 700, and the risk-free value of that protocol was like 600. So it was very close. And there were some people that like were planning even after the Snowbank debacle, like they're planning to sticking with Snowbank, which was super risky. But then they got removed by Trader Joe
That was what I was gonna
on
say
the
when
thing, and
Vinny
then
was like
people.
talking about it with like the Trader Joe stuff where they made their own decks and then now they get delisted. It's almost like it's like a black,
Yeah.
like it's like the Scarlet Letter or
Yeah,
something.
Scarlet
You
Letter for
get
sure.
delisted from the decentralized. It's not even a centralized exchange; it's a decentralized
Yeah, the
exchange.
main decentralized exchange on Avalanche. But there's like some talks where it's like people on Avalanche were promoting it too, so maybe they had some insider information. So I don't know. That whole thing is sketchy. But
No, and
back
then I mean,
to the yeah.
you should play the Twitter thing that I had sent. And then basically this one guy was talking about how this is why things need to be regulated and like I'm contacting the FBI and
Yeah.
like
Interpol.
what is it, like the international Interpol or whatever, because like they stole your stuff. And then I had WhatsApped it to you, but I mean the idea was the one guy was just like talking shit, being like, go back to like trading Tesla on Robinhood and getting rug pulled by people that own
Yeah, getting
90% of
front
the
run.
world's economy or something. Yeah.
Yeah, getting front run on Robinhood if you're not about rug pulls. Just a sec.
Yeah. But it could segue a bit into like what I wanted Vinny to discuss a little bit, where he's like, works and, like kind of knows about the macro stuff that happens with crypto and in different countries, and in how like some countries you can't, like, the access to get to crypto or the fees are prohibitive. And
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what's it like?
yeah.
I mean, I can tell you only from like my perspective here is in Europe. I'm not sure it's totally different from Brazil, but I guess like the freer the country, I think the easier they make it somehow to operate in this market, even though regulations coming, but and crypto is, they say it's an alternative for inflation, right? It's the solution in a sense, let's put it that way. But I'd say it's easier to buy crypto in North America and Brazil than in some countries in Latin America. Like can't imagine, for instance, how hard it would be to buy in Venezuela and so on.
No, in Argentina.
Yeah, even in Argentina, where they have like so a lot of countries they impose currency controls, and I think that's valid
Really?
even for crypto, you know. And the reality is like when a country has like a huge problem with inflation, such as Argentina or Venezuela, even worse, they try to control as much as they can, because in a way or another, when you're like investing in crypto, first you have to put some dollars, right? And
Yeah.
that's like leaving the country.
And then, yeah, in Argentina, they don't allow you, they monitor the purchases of dollars, and they don't let you
Really?
put all your money into dollars. They only let you buy so many a month.
Yeah,
So
so that
imagine that's
poses an issue
crazy.
for sure. Because you have to put your fiat into, you have to transfer into crypto. If they make that
Yeah.
process really hard, then you can't really expose yourself to crypto. And yeah, I didn't even realize how, sometimes it's like difficult for in Europe, even sometimes with the banks, um, trying
Yeah,
to set up a Coinbase account even.
yeah, that's kind of like, I mean, up to a few months ago, I could not set up a Coinbase account. Now it got a bit easier. But the thing is, that I see in Europe is like, this is also one of the most advanced, somewhat regulations. Whether you like your regulations or not, that's a totally different issue. But it's like one of the cultures that goes like GDPR is in Europe for quite some time. Other they try to pursue like legal cases against tech companies way more often than the US and so on and so forth.
Over here, you got to do the accept for all cookies, because they like tell all the website companies, there's
They
certain
sell your
privacy.
data.
Yeah.
And then it's only allowed to be stored in the European mainland. It's caused like a tremendous infrastructure issue for a lot of the companies, because you're not allowed to have sensitive corporate data held offshore. So
And
then like you have to have servers in EU.
and a lot of things like that. So the way I see it, man, like probably something's gonna come from Europe in terms of regulation, probably way sooner than in other countries. That I don't know. It's not going to dictate, but it might show a roadmap for what other countries are going to do.
Well, the US is on a timeline. I don't know if we discussed this on the podcast, but they passed the infrastructure bill and they put that amendment in there. I know we talked about the amendment before where, it's kind of unreasonable law for node validators on Ethereum and on Ethereum or Bitcoin. But US is on a timeline where it's like 2024. That's when that crypto law comes into effect. And
They're
so
gonna have to
there's
fight the laws that are like gonna come into law in the future. And I mean, it's incredibly prohibitive. And I mean, I had gone to
it's
Lisbon.
impossible to enforce.
There's so many people moving to Lisbon, or a lot of the stuff, it's like you're gonna have to like use VPNs or like geotag yourself in not America. but the legal repercussions could be big if they try to just headhunt. And then they were talking about how the Build Back Better has way more resources for IRS stuff. And I mean, on crypto Twitter, there's all the memes and jokes where it's like, oh, how's your trading going? It's like, not today, Fed.
Yeah. Nancy
What is the
Pelosi.
timeline exactly?
So what they have is that there's this new law where if you run a node which verifies information, or
Transaction.
if you do certain transactions, you're labeled as a broker,
Yeah.
and then you have to follow certain legal, like you have to report,
You have to provide
basically.
and it's for like
KYC
technical
information.
people. It's like
Yeah.
if I'm a developer in my house, I'm like
Yeah.
a dad who's a developer.
Yeah.
I would have to do like thousands of dollars to register legally with it. It's really unenforceable. It's like, dude, I'm pretty sure it's like the traditional finance industry trying to screw crypto, because it's like, it's so punitive and poorly written.
But they can't enforce it. It's so vague. And how
They just shoved it through with the Build Better Back with all the rest of the, like, I mean, it was like 3,000 pages that nobody read that lobbyists had written. Like,
Yeah.
well, people read it and they try to do an amendment, but it never
they tried to
passed.
do a last minute, but it had already gotten like delayed and disrupted. And
There's a couple senators that are trying to
there's
do
the Hillary
amendments.
Clinton flood too. You've been seeing that?
Yeah. Where she's like, this is a way for criminals to manipulate, or Russia to manipulate.
Russia, yeah. Oh my gosh. It just sounds ridiculous. And I saw somebody on the timeline being like, honestly, this is a bit bullish, to be real. Like Hillary Clinton saying that crypto is bad for the government, and that
she's coming out of her hole and
like,
Nantucket or something.
Yeah. Like, the Trump people are like,
That's yeah.
But even Trump is against crypto. Like he is for like the US dollar. He wants the US dollar to be number one. So he wasn't really into crypto anyways. Like,
well, one of the interesting things I wanted to talk with Vinny about on here was just like the idea where people are talking about prices in the US and inflation, but like in Brazil, they've like consistently dealt with inflation. And then, I mean, there are other countries now going through inflation. And like, I think like, when are the traditional people going to accept crypto as a store of value?
It's going to take some time, man.
Yeah.
Definitely. But yeah, regarding, let's just go back to the other topic, because one thing, yeah, they're gonna pressure for like punitive regulation, but I see kind of a bright side in the end, that crypto nowadays is something that a lot of even large corporations are talking about. So there is going to be a lot of money pushed into crypto, even independent projects and so on. So that might be, that might be a good like counterforce, like a balance of powers against regular like punitive things. But yeah, going back, what was the question again?
Just in terms of inflation, where it's like,
what do you think is the crypto adoption? When is that going to happen?
Man, I'd say for a country like, let's say, underdeveloped country such as Brazil, Latin America in general, Asia, there's still a big mentality, especially among like, I wouldn't call it even very old population, man, around 38 or something, that the store of value, and that's particularly true in Argentina, or countries that have like a very difficult economy, in a sense, that the store of value is dollar. It's either dollar or put in a fixed income. So yeah, I think like new generation are going to come up and replace that. But for countries that been through inflation a lot, it's kind of like they like, I mean, the best investment in Brazil up to this point, if you ask for any single Brazilian, it's going to be like, you have to buy real estate, because yeah, that the inflation will not eat. So it's kind of hard mentality, it's a difficult mentality in a sense.
So what do you like, what's preventing Brazil from like playing in El Salvador? Right? Is it just like the leader, the guy in charge?
The interesting thing to me that I argued with him about was like, for instance, in Colombia, the drug dealers deal in crypto and they contribute to the politicians. So I think Colombia is safe from regulation. And no, I don't want to disparage Colombia or anything, but yeah, not political advice, not legal advice, not financial advice.
Wild West is in Colombia.
Yeah, I mean, well, Medellin is supposed to be like the Silicon Valley of South America. And I mean, there's like eventually some of this stuff is technology and business where it's like Miami is booming because if you don't tax it, it's going to go to Miami. It's not going to be in Silicon Valley. Nightmare headaches and then plus regulations and then all the COVID restrictions. I was telling you, people go to Dubai, they go to Lisbon. And I think that in South America, it's going to be like a race to the bottom where at some point you just need these crypto billionaires to start greasing some politicians' palms. Like Sam Bankman-Fried gave like how many millions to Joe Biden? Like did he
Bahamas,
get a phone call? Was it
he's
600 million?
populating. I don't know how much he
Now, yeah,
gave,
now he's moving to Bahamas.
but he's in
Everything
the
he does,
Bahamas. There's some crypto guys in Bahamas now. Like,
Sam Bankman-Fried from Solana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
And
know.
like, do you want
There's
to just give an update on what happened? Because I feel like we need to do little Sam Bankman-Fried updates because I think we've gone over and over like who he is, but like just updating how the dude is taking over the world, literally.
I think he's opening, FTX locations in Bahamas.
Yeah,
And
and
I
just
think
offshore locations. But he bought the naming rights to the Miami Heat Stadium in Florida.
also the Cal Berkeley College Stadium in San
The Cal
Francisco.
Berkeley College Stadium. And then he got Giselle Bundchen.
Oh,
Giselle, yeah, and
yeah.
Tom Brady together.
Tom Brady, yeah. And Steph
$60
Curry
million,
too.
like 7 years or something.
And Steph Curry. Like FT
Yeah.
he like rebranded Blockfolio just to be FTX. And so
Yeah.
it's basically like as far as like marketing, it's like between crypto.com and that Matt Damon commercial and
Yeah.
then FTX. Like they're fighting for like US dominance and like Coinbase is like kind of sprinkling it in there with like NBA partnerships and like trying to like put their name on the goalpost or something.
I
But
mean, if they release their NFT, and I think each place is trying to do their like own limited set of NFTs, but like it's so weird that OpenSea, I mean, when is it gonna
well,
die?
CRO is, I mean, crypto.com has been popping off. It's a top 10 coin now. And so
Yeah.
this past week, and shout out to Koski. He's like, I like during Thanksgiving weekend during football, like I saw that Matt Damon commercial like 10 times. And so that makes me bullish on, CR or crypto.com.
I haven't seen it. Yeah, I'm over here.
It's just a basic
Just
like
Matt Damon. It's just
it's
like,
just Matt
oh look, he
Damon
spent money.
like Martian vibes, like where it's like he's just like in the future walking through these videos of different things, and it's very like Martian vibes with Matt Damon, and he's just like, "This is the future. We are like, like closing in on the future," and
This is
so.
FTX.
Yeah, no, this is crypto. This is a
Oh,
crypto.com commercial.
crypto.com.
So this is like FTX fighting with, crypto.com for, marketing supremacy. And then
Yeah.
Coinbase is trying to script because like crypto.com on top of the Staples naming rights, they also have the advertisement on the Philadelphia jerseys. So they have their logo on the Philadelphia jerseys.
The marketing
Crypto.com.
spend is getting insane.
Well, their budget is limitless in
When I was
crypto.
flying to Lisbon, I think I might have said it on the other podcast, but I saw it was like it wasn't even a billboard. It was like walling that had like Floki Inu. Like buy Floki Inu.
Yeah, in Amsterdam, they've been on buses and stuff.
They have it everywhere, like these random shit coins. I'm like,
yeah, crypto.com is 14 on the top market cap list. And that, I mean, honestly, that's more bullish than Coinbase, honestly. Their stock has been tanking. So it's like, it's also like two different ways to look at it too, where it's like you can go the IPO route where I know on Up Only, Ari Paul has been talking about how like they're not like the trading experience on Coinbase. There's all these like misinformation, like they're not investing in the UI or the UX of Coinbase. Like even if you're trading, they'll say like, oh, we need to verify your ID, but like without verifying your ID, you're able to trade. You like so
I mean,
their user experience is not that great because they're not investing in their user experience.
people are still outraged that Phantom isn't on Coinbase.
Well, the thing about Coinbase is you gotta grease the wheels, right?
Yeah. And then I was doing like some of the stuff, like some of the metrics. If you do TPS, the transactions per second for Solana, AVAX, Ethereum, and Phantom, like Phantom is like better. Like it still has never made sense. And like that was the first altcoin I ever bought after New Year's so that it would be this year's taxes. And I bought Phantom at 6 cents and it was like, this is going to be huge, man. They're working with Afghanistan.
It's
Like
faster than
the
AVAX.
marketing doesn't hit people. Yeah, it's faster than AVAX.
Yeah, cheaper than AVAX too.
Cheaper than AVAX. Cheaper, by far cheaper than Ethereum then. And then it's like, why? If you look at the market caps, so I was telling Vinny, Phantom to 13 end of year, and he was like, man, that's a couple weeks away. And I was like, but it doesn't make sense. It should be there. But
no, I think honestly it's they like the most.
it blows my mind. Koski and Anoop, there's a full NFT ecosystem on Phantom that I have no clue about. But there are people that are Phantom rich spending Phantom. It's so weird when you step into like Solana NFTs or Phantom NFTs, you're like, this is a different reality I would never even knew existed.
Yeah, I think it's like honestly, I think it's like a little too big brain for normies.
And
Like
it's
it needs to be on Coinbase. It needs to be on Coinbase because it's on
on the
crypto.com.
Ethereum.
It's on KuCoin.
Did we talk about the Wolf game last week?
No, but that's
Or was
also
it 2 weeks
something to
ago?
talk about. Well,
I
it's been
think we talked about, or
happening
did we just talk about it personally? Because
personally.
I've been seeing the Wolf game. You got to explain it then briefly.
I don't even know. I am not even good at explaining this. Like they talk about wool. So this has been in our Cryptosparta Telegram.
the Cryptosparta chat's been blowing up about the
And
Wolf.
it's just been like
And you're looking at the
shed
wool,
wool.
Ethereum. Yeah.
Like you shed wool, you have a wolf, you gain like 25,000 wolf a day. It's like it's above my head.
I
It's a
was telling him
TTE
about it because
game.
I was reading through what they wrote in the chat. And I was like, so this guy, instead of, like letting them farm, he's been shearing the wool to
Yeah.
sell for more sheep. But
And
there's
then
the
you could
risk that a
steal a
wolf might
wolf.
eat them. And
You could steal a wolf.
he's like, this is a good Ponzi. Like, this is a good Ponzi. And I'm like, dude, this guy's making, dude,
Like
shout out Michael. What did he make? 50K? He's making 10K a day just shearing sheep in an NFT game on Ethereum and selling the wool for money. $50,000. And he's like, yeah. And it sounds so dumb. I was telling Vinny as well, where it's just like,
but it's not for
some
like
of the
normies
phrases
though.
are
You gotta
so
get
dumb where it's
whitelisted.
like, I've made 10,000 a day shearing wool. And then at the end of the day, I'm not even using the wool to buy more sheep, but I still own the sheep and I have one wolf.
It's funny because
And then they're like, it's a generation one wolf. So it produces this much wool because it goes and steals the other sheep.
yeah. So
And I was like, this
poses
sounds so dumb.
This poses like another question where it's like we are getting into like advancements in different careers and stuff. And I was talking about this with my mom where it was like if you're a crypto trader just sitting around like doing this stuff, like you don't gain respect of society, right? Where it's like you're not a doctor, you're not like a VP of a president. Like nowadays it's like cash
Sounds like
rules everything
I
around
don't
me.
need this stereotype. Sounds like some guilt. I don't know.
No,
My-
but that I think it's a reflection of
kind of
old school
true.
institutional, where it's like nowadays there's YouTube creators, there's like content creators, people want to be TikTok people, they want to be like YouTubers. Like it's I don't know. I am for the school of thought where it's like it doesn't matter what you do, you're making money, right? Where it's
I
like
had this discussion with Ben, and I was like, man, like I made some good money off Doge, and I should have just held it, and I would have been rich. And he's like, that's not the way you want to make the money. Like
yeah.
all crypto wealth isn't made equal.
So how should I make my money? Like
I was like, Brian, and seriously, I've told you about this, but I mean, if it's not, it's news to you, you know, whatever. You're promoted, Brian. You're a senior consultant now. You're a senior
I'm
crypto
chief
consultant.
knowledge officer.
Man, you know, some of our clients are consultants. Renee is a consultant. And he said, you know, I owe Brian, and he has very serious knowledge. And I don't know what you guys did to, you know, learn this stuff. Vinny was like, I was bored during the pandemic and I tried to pick up some programming. And I was like, you know what? There is some value in the 2 years of just sitting around on Twitter for hours
No,
a day that I spent. Like,
pan
I actually learned
pandemic
something.
pandemic is
And you picked it up like a duck to water. Honestly, you didn't even take as much time, but you're just in as deep. And Renee is like, yeah, you're like a consultant because you guys understand. And there was that one tweet where it was like, if you really want to be a good trader, before you do anything, learn the culture, learn the characters. I was just reading this week why someone was like, dude, like Suzu and Three Arrows Capital and CMS and like these big VCs, they're not good for the whatever, you
they're
know, they're
front
not on
running you.
retail
They're
side.
they're
They're front
promoting
running you.
whatever
And
they invest
then
in.
he's like, you know, don't trust them. It's like, don't trust them. If you had just bought what Suzu and Sam
If
Bankman
you bought
Fried
Avalanche
did,
at $3,
very simple. Yeah. Solana at $3. Sell me all you can and fuck off. AVAX at 15, or Suzu announcing that he's an AVAX, or saying he likes, I think that they had an initial investment announcement with Trader Joe as well. If you just follow these rich people,
you
it's
could
not
100x. Like it's
well, and
crazy.
that's what Sam Alameda had said. That was his thesis, was that um Elon Musk is tweeting about Dogecoin. What are the odds he keeps tweeting about Dogecoin? I'm not
Yeah.
selling. And then he added into his position sub a penny by millions.
But that was like during the Elon Musk time where the top
That
was
was
like
like when the
63
tweet, yeah,
cents and he
SNL stuff
sold.
and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when he sold. And he was like, it felt like the top. I'd been
But
in
back
long
in
enough.
January of
When he first,
2021. Yeah.
yeah, when he first had started saying stuff
Yeah.
about Doge.
So like I don't know. Cash rules everything around me. Cream. Wu-Tang. Where it's like
Wu-Tang.
yeah. So status like I don't know. Like
No,
you
but the
get
thing is, Brian, I would say, you know, is a different thing. You know, you can say that, but Brian, you can tell your mom you're a senior consultant at a crypto consultancy firm. We put that on your
when
business cards.
when
How long
C-suite.
ago from
When
Bitcoin
C
Miami?
yeah. When C-suite.
Yeah, when C-suite, when Lambo.
Yeah, when Lambo.
Yeah, when secretaries.
No, but I mean, I'm in the same boat as you, but it just poses the question, and
I'll say
as far
this, my
as
mom
old
can
school debate,
privately get upset with me all the time, but publicly, I have a crypto consultancy company.
well,
So tell that to your mom. You know, you can tell your friends as much as you
comes on
criticize
Christmas
me
time.
personally.
When the Cartier comes on Christmas
Yeah,
time,
you're a founder. You're a podcast founder. You're a thought leader.
What
What are the consultancy?
Yeah, you're a thought leader.
I was telling him
You're
about
like a futurist.
I was telling him about the LinkedIn meme where it's like two pictures of the same dude, and on the one side it's like creator, builder, manager, you know, like this, that, like, you know, like entrepreneurial minded, you know, like collectivist. And then it's the same picture, but on the other side it's just unemployed.
yeah. Where it's yeah, entrepreneur, where it's like
Crypto trader,
on a dating app,
podcaster.
where it's like entrepreneur, like idea builder, like, but you don't do anything.
No, and it's like the joke from some comedian where it's like, yeah, entrepreneur, like it's like, what do you actually do? Is like, man, I do like personal training, like Monday through Thursday, and then I like DJ on the weekends.
He's a musician.
Yeah, but I got some big ideas.
Yeah,
I got this thing, we're doing our like branded protein or something like.
But that was good discussion. I don't know.
Should we just hit the shills?
Yeah, dude.
I didn't even prepare much. I gotta like take a peek because it's a bit murky.
Well, everything is down. So anything you put in right now is, if you put in a high market coin right now, it's gonna go up, I think, in the next 3 months. And like,
I have one, and it's like just kind of out of nowhere.
well, we didn't even talk about like the MCC and the CCC coins.
Oh yeah, we could do that.
Where there's a whole, maybe this will be our show segment, because
that can be the show, but I have another one. But you do this first, because I still didn't really ever do the due diligence properly. I just aped in, and I aped in like a minimal amount, but I think my CCC has tripled.
Like, I don't
it's
think
so dumb where you're just like, if I just was more impulsive and apish,
I don't think it's CC is tripled yet, but
I got in super early. It's
kind of a wave right now.
Yeah. But one of the things I just wanted to say one thing where it was like the difference between like full-time crypto and full-time is like the one extra hour or like the one quicker ape, or like you spend the extra hour on Twitter and like know a bit more. It's weird how like just plain effort can actually just make you money.
Oh no, if you actually like if you set aside like 2 to 3 hours of like full dive research and like knew what to do, like, looking at doing analytics, or like researching a certain company, like looking at their team, what the roadmap is, like if you set aside like 2 hours a day, like
just made me think of,
you're like
when
exponentially like ahead of the curve.
Look at RVP team. Look at this old guy. Like they've got an old, smart looking white dude who is from a university. Like,
what's that meme where it's like his name is like you are like up.
His name's Yang.
Or no,
his name's Yang. I was gonna send it to you because it was like, he's like, dude, that's kind of racist, man. He's like, he doesn't even speak English. And he's like, I do speak English, but he thinks that the clients like it.
No, so back to what I was talking about. So we talked about like my show. So MCC, CCC, these are like multi-chain capital or cross-chain capital. Multi-chain capital is on Ethereum. Cross-chain capital is on Avalanche. And these are, so we talk about all these ohm forks these past couple of weeks, and how, not all ohm forks are treated the same. Like as we talk about ohm and we talk about time, and then we see on the other hand Snowbank, and then so these coins, they invest in these different blockchains for you instead of you manually investing in each one, and they give you a return and they buy back the token, and they give you a return. I don't know how often it is, but they give you a return in that token based off the revenue, and they try to buy back the token and burn to increase the value. And so there's a couple of these chains that have gone out, a couple of days ago. These are brand new chains. And Michael said he had a buddy that invested in MCC early, was ended up making like 20K a day on this. And this was like back in the early day.
Dude, we need to chit chat with Mike more.
It 3x, but it dropped back down. And so right now it's like right back to its launch. And I don't know, the tokenomics seem kind of sketchy to me. So like where it's like they farm all these different forks. And then they give you a percentage of that profit in their token. But people end up selling that token anyways, so it deflates that price. So
what
the price is
what I
not
was
really ever going up.
what I was telling Vinny was I was like, he's thinking that everything's a Ponzi. And I tell him about S Dog, I tell him about Wolf, and it's like,
That's a
oh, I'm just
Ponzi.
telling you about the
That's
Ponzi's because they're the funnest things.
That's the Ponzi.
But I was like,
but do you
hey,
think
Brian and
MCC is?
I launch an MCC fork, and we tell people that we're gonna farm, like we're gonna get like one of those new NFTs and like farm like monkey bananas like coins on the Solana. And we're
But
gonna
it's a
just
middleman. It's a middleman
that's the whole thing
token.
is, and then this is what I was saying is it's a structure where, hey man, so like, I'm trying to build this business and a lot of people ask if I can invest for them and
I teach
just
you how to invest in these forks.
buy my governance token in my MCC fork. And then Brian and I have like most of the tokens and we control the DAO. It's a DAO in like the Seychelles. And I'm
That
like,
sounds like
it's
a
not me
Ponzi for
doing the
us.
rugging. It's not me doing the scamming. It's just the DAO in the
farming.
Seychelles that I own all the governance tokens to. It's like, that's a good Ponzi. That's a good Ponzi.
And you end up doing during Halloween. Yes, no, Black Friday, right?
Yeah.
You finish the Ponzi on Black Friday.
We just can't be doxxed. That's the whole thing,
But we're already doxxed.
Yeah, and we were just talking about the S Dog stuff, like, like anonymous team of developers has proposed a certain like
unaudited contract.
It was such an obvious rug. And it's kind of like paying
going back to S Dog, right? Or not MCC or CCC. Those aren't rugs yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Quotations. Yeah.
Like there's the possibility and you see it. Because
we were duped. We were fooled.
Instead of I wanted like to create a hedge fund because all these people had said, can I just give you money and you invest it for me?
I don't want that.
And I was just going to give it to like a gigabrain, like a Noop or somebody, and just be like, can you just farm this in some degen, whatever levels?
20% return.
Yeah. 20% is fine. And then I met some dude at Solana being like, I get 90% on USDT. You just got to know how to stake it.
I was looking in the Anchor protocol on Luna. That must be that might be a thing where you can get like 160% APY.
It's like zero risk. And then
no,
like,
there's risk.
Unless the dollar coins fall apart. And I'm like,
there's a risk on the
dollar coins fall apart. Like the world is going to be reorganized.
If stable coins go below 80%, then you're screwed. But but they're called stable coins. Well, it's like it's supposed to be pulled for $1, but you can loop it how many times and get over 100% APY. But if that stable coin goes under 80%, then you get liquidated or get under 80 cents.
He's like worked with banks before, and I was like, what if we can get them like 18% with like almost zero risks? And he's like, what's the risk of like the dollar coin
you
like
can get
falling apart?
10%
dude,
on
if that
Celsius.
Happens, we're really screwed.
Yeah.
8% on Celsius.
No, they increased it. Now it's at 10. Now it's on 10.
10%. And people just put their money in the stock market and then they think crypto is evil.
Well, they pay someone to put in the stock market to get 10% returns.
They need to pay us to put it in the crypto markets. Like that's what Renee is saying.
We're the bridge. We're the bridge. We're the bridge. So back on topic, what's your show? I kind of showed MCC. What's your show?
It's Cryptosparta. It's CRA on AVAX.
What the hell?
It's like a metaverse. Like I don't really know. It's one of these things where I'm just like
Cryptosparta,
crab, like Crabadabba. I don't even know. Or Cryptosparta. It's like I just see certain people that I respect posting these things.
I don't even see it. CLA?
CRA. It's like Cryptosparta. It's like the there people are like
top 500.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a top 500 coin.
I just know certain people that are just like posting about
What is it?
It's the AVAX like mana or I don't actually know. Like I haven't done. It's one of these things where sometimes I just get a gut feeling where I'm like, oh, the right people, like certain signals where you're just like, I should have known better too. When certain people that aren't into crypto start asking me about dumb coins, I'm like, this is a signal to buy.
Honestly, all these new
Scaled on
coins coming
coins.
out.
That's the signal to sell. I'm sorry
No,
to
it's a
interrupt.
signal to sell. Yeah, yeah.
Well, the thing
Like,
is that these
No,
coins are
when
like
people ask you,
that
2 weeks
tale that
old.
they tell about
yeah,
1929.
yeah.
Like,
These like Trabada is 2 weeks old basically. And so like all these coins that are 2 weeks old, this reminds me back in March where you had all these new coins pop off and like people were trying to get in on the ground level. And so you definitely got to be careful with these coins for sure. But like right now, like the coins we listed, like they pop up a little bit and then they went back down. So they could be back down to when they started, or they could, pop back
The other
up.
one, a noob had told me, and yeah, I didn't prepare properly for the shows, but I kind of like it when you're just off the cuff, like out of the gut.
Yeah,
A
this whole
noob had
podcast
told
is off the
me,
cuff right now.
yeah, a noob had told me there was a big immutable X drop.
Really? I
Get
don't
an
even.
immutable X NFT that you
Do they
like
even have
and
a
that you
coin?
hold to zero, but maybe these will be like, if this is the platform to take over, zero gas fees NFTs.
They do have a coin. It's top 150 right now.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it a long time back, didn't we?
Yeah, we talked about building on it, but not actually like buying the coin, like
Yeah, and
investing.
Path was like
Well,
and
he's an
crypto Path
investor.
is
He's a
huge,
VC in it,
huge in NFTs.
and
He's
he's the
behind
NFL.
non-fungible
Yeah,
Doge. Yeah,
definitely recommend listening to that most recent crypto pathic up only. He definitely
really.
dives in
Did
on.
they start back up again? Like I was gonna
Yeah, now they
in like
started back up again.
Ledger's back, or I mean, Kobe's back.
Kobe's back. Yep.
Okay, then it's like it's just not the same if it's just Ledger. It really is missing something.
No, yeah, but yeah. Yeah, so Immutable X, they just launched a coin back in beginning of November. So it's fairly new, but um
No, and a
yeah,
noob told me about a big money
they might
launch that
airdrop,
happened.
yeah, for early
NFTs, I think
holders.
that now it's getting to be like there's too much noise, and if you do something crappy, you're not going to get any attention.
No, there's definitely a lot of trash out there. You just gotta sort it out for sure.
Yeah, I mean, but the Bored Apes stays floating. Um,
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see if there's like cross-chain NFTs coming soon.
I mean, I'm just hoping for a bounce back right now. Like things look pretty bleak. I think people are like the fear
I
is
think it's
all-time
gonna,
high.
yeah, it almost feels like I hate to, it's not up only, but it's almost like I hate to think that like maybe pull something into stable coins and actually like follow the herd and take some profits before you're the last one out. Cause it's gonna be like 4 months of
But
like
what is there to
consolidation.
take profits of, man? Like right now,
Dude,
I
shut
don't
up,
feel like
Brian. I
it's.
know that you've like made a good chunk of money on
No, I
paper.
haven't, dude. I'm still down like 40%, dude.
Overall, no, or
Yeah,
just like in the short term.
no. I mean, dude. Things have not recovered since all-time highs of March. Like even though ETH has been in, like there's altcoins still like suffering
I
a
guess
little bit.
time in the market beats timing the market because I mean the small phantom
Timing the
value
market
for
beats timing the market.
time in the market.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Definitely.
And then
That's what I'm
also
hoping for sure.
maybe just have time and it's like, yeah, dude, time
Yeah.
is really juicy. I went up
It's
from
dipping now.
0.21 to 0.3 and I'm like, oh, if it gets lower and you still have the high rewards, I should buy some more.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of
That's what
rotating
I
into
want to
time.
rotate. I want
I'm
to
almost thinking of
rotate.
getting all into time, but I'm just like, I'm not gonna fiddle with stuff and like actually it's so complicated to move everything.
And no, especially with the
And then
gas
also the
fees and
gas
stuff.
fees.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would probably take me legit. This is like a weird, and it's not, I'm not trying to be like flexing or anything, but I have different like, and it's like almost like bags that aren't even worth unstaking and moving. It probably cost me like $3,000 to like move all of my Ethereum assets out of Ethereum into
Well, think
dollars.
about it. It's like $100 per transaction. You have 8 different coins on
Staking
Ethereum.
transactions cost even more to unstake
Yeah.
your stake on Bancor.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, gas is definitely high for sure. And so rotating is definitely
Anyways, I'm gonna
hard.
show Phantom too then, because like, come on, cheaper fees, faster transactions. The
Yeah.
only reason it's being held back is because they don't spend money on marketing and they just quietly sit in their corner and do good work. Undervalued.
Yeah,
It's always been undervalued. I
they
don't
got
know
an
how
own
I'm like
fork on there
making
too.
these arguments because
They
like
got SPA on there.
yeah, from 6 cents to 60, and then you just feel the price action go to 40, and you're just like, Phantom's lame. And then it
Yeah.
shoots up to 3, and then now it's back down to 2, and you're like, the way that the pattern is for Phantom is it just shoots through the roof, and then it's like a 30% retrace, and you're like, this is lame. And it's like, what? Dude, it just like 10x'd, and you're upset it went down to a 6x. Like,
Yeah.
this is
I
not,
think anything
it's
under
messing
2
with
is
your
really good
dopamine.
right
Like,
now.
you need to like get out of the crypto bubble. Like, this is
Yeah.
awesome.
No, if you think about it, if you make 2 million this bull run, like 10% is 200,000. That's a pretty good living in stables.
Yeah.
So on that note, I think we'll close it for this episode.
Let's wrap it up. Peace.
Yep. So yeah, this has been another episode of the Cryptosparta Podcast, November 28th. Bye.
Uh,
Bye.